What is up, Jayhawks? Welcome back to JayhawkJukebox. Hope you guys are enjoying this cool weather. I know I am. How about you?
Yeah, definitely.
My name is John Dawkins.
I'm Taylor Holochek.
And we are doing Song of the Week. So for this Song of the Week, I chose Where You Going Tonight by Mac Ayres. Let me just start with, this is my boy. I found him, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is like his 5th project. I'm always bad with like the projects and which one they are, but he's very inspired by Stevie Wonder. You can kind of hear it in this song.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's very 4 on the floor, which is like a disco term. 4 on the floor is like a boom, boom, boom. You can hear it as soon as it starts. So I love that. It's very that like bass driven in that disco era and element. Let me see, where can I start? I love the feel of this song. It's like kind of like you're going to a party. Mm-hmm. It kind of gets you ready, yeah, like, definitely. A little grooviness to it. And yeah, I mean, what did you think of this song?
So I listened to it, automatically added it to the playlist. It almost gives me like Daniel Caesar and like SZA vibes in a way also, which I love both of them. And I love that it's like one of those songs that you can either just chill to or you can like really listen in and like actively listen to it. Mm-hmm. Like it's good for all different types of moods, I feel like. Yeah. And I just now listened to it today for the first time, so I think that's saying a lot that I already like it this much. Mm-hmm. But yeah. The
really thing I forgot that I noticed I love about Mac Ayres himself is the cover art. He edited by himself. He produced the song, the whole album. There's some things other producers helped him with, but he produced it, mixes and masters. He did even like a live video, like a live performance in his bedroom of the same song, and like he's doing all the piano, the bass, and like he's just legit. So what was your song before I get like
my
in my
song
head?
is 20 by Annie DeRusso, who is also artist I love, and she's also like kind of in those beginning stages. Her first song that I ever heard is called, I don't remember the name of it anyway, but this is like maybe her 4th song, and she has like maybe 8 songs total out right now. She's one of those artists that like I found very early on, and now every song that comes out afterwards just gets better and better each time. And I really love that a lot of her songs are kind of like, a lot of the lyrics are almost ironic in a way. And like she plays her own guitar and stuff, so it's very messy sounding, but in like a very clean way at the same time. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but her voice is also so like strong and like smooth. And she's like from Nashville, and I love also when like artists are also funny on social media and stuff and actually have a personality outside of just their work. But what did you think of it?
I liked it. I didn't know what to expect. Like I saw like, the cover and I got kind of like a punk rock feel. Yeah. Like especially with like the birthday cake in 20, but it was really enjoyable. Like especially when all the instruments came in and the first chorus, super dope. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you for joining us for Song of the Week, and we'll see you in a minute.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to Jayhawk Jukebox. I'm Nathaniel Duncan, once again joined by one of my favorite guests, Matt Kesler. Thank you so much for coming back to the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, you were here earlier this year in February, and I just want to know what you've been up to musically since then.
Wow. Well, just been working on practicing, getting ready for the show tomorrow night. Or not tomorrow night, I guess it'd be Saturday night. Seems like it's tomorrow night just because everything's snowballing here all of a sudden here coming up. Busy weekend. Yeah, so yeah, we have a show coming up in at the Bottleneck in Lawrence on Saturday, November 6th. we're going to be opening up for a great band, Get Smart. I know this is way before your time, but Get Smart was instrumental in the Lawrence music scene back in they started out in 1980, and they were road dogs for one thing. I mean, they were out playing a lot, and they really kind of helped formulate this music scene that was going on in Lawrence at the time. It was kind of like post-punk, kind of pre-grunge.
Sounds something right up my alley.
Yeah. So it was a great time to be a musician in Lawrence, because there was a thriving scene at the time, and there were a lot of musicians in town. A lot of kids coming into their own musically, and a lot of creativity, and like I said, it was kind of a little bit of a spillover from the punk, the real hardcore punk eras, thing, and a big factor with that whole scene and the whole time was KJHK, which I want to give a shout out to Grace for wearing the KJHK shirt today. That was awesome to see.
And a plot development. I've actually joined KJHK.
There you go. See, I told you last time, didn't I? I said,
yes,
you got to get on the radio, because I mean, it's again. I was a DJ at KJHK, and that was a big part of how I ended up being in the Pedaljets. Started out, I was actually DJing, and there was a band called Other Geese, and the bass player had graduated and moved to LA to become a doctor, and they were looking for a bass player. So, I raised my hand, and that was the beginning of that. And that was, I think, that was in the early '80s, '83 maybe, something like that.
That's funny how bands just we need this specific person for this specific instrument. Who knows how to play?
Right. So it was great. And like I said, the scene was already thriving. Other Geese had already, had a little bit of a following there, and they'd done several shows with Get Smart. And so again, it just kind of so now the Pedaljets form, and we ended up playing some shows with Get Smart. So this show on Saturday is basically, well, they were supposed to do it last year, and obviously nothing happened last year.
Right.
So this is and that would have been Get Smart's 40th anniversary last year. So so now it's 40 plus 1, since we're doing it.
Better
this year.
late than never.
Right. So yeah, we're real excited to be a part of that, and to play with Get Smart again after all this time. And then in the meantime, because of this kind of a reunion thing of all these scene people, the members of Other Geese are going to be in town.
Nice.
So Other Geese now, which was the predecessor to the Pedaljets, it will be. They're going to do a couple songs together.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it'll be a full-on reunion of the Lawrence '80s scene.
Now, you talk about the Bottleneck, and if people don't really know this is a kind of historic venue in Lawrence.
Right.
A lot of music history in there. Is that one of your favorite places to play?
Yeah. And so again, like you said, historically, another reason why the music scene was so incredibly great was because of the venues here in town that offered place for these bands to perform and play. At the time, in the '80s, it was called Off the Wall Hall, which was it was really just the open space and a platform on one end. And at that time, I think they had like taverns and things like that, so it was like 3-2 beer. Mm-hmm. And a lot of places were BYOB, which was interesting. Like Liberty Hall, that was you could rent out Liberty Hall and have a show. Which we ended up doing several times. We had the Gun Club there one time, and then we hosted or produced a show for Husker Du. But those were great because you could, here we are in college, and we're able to bring in national acts into Lawrence, right, because it had the scene, and we had venues, we had places to play. So So yeah, the Bottleneck then became, well, it started out as Off the Wall Hall, and then I think in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, it became Cogburns, and then eventually became the Bottleneck, which has been the Bottleneck for quite some time. And so yeah,
So
and
there's a lot of history in live
and as
music.
the Bottleneck, they have continued to bring in national acts, and it's a destination place. So
What's it going to be like for you to get back on stage and perform?
it's been a minute. This album came out. This one came out in. I need to fix this in March of 2020. So the tours just didn't quite happen. I gotta make this right. I think if I there we go. If I just had a gray pen, it would really look good, right? Oh, you didn't get the goatee in there. See? There you go. All right.
Well,
So,
got this.
but yeah, I'm excited to play. Really been looking forward to this show. Like we were supposed to do this last November, so being able to actually do it, and then also to have other geese be able to actually come and play a couple songs would be fun. And there's another band called they're called Boy Soprano. They're local. They're a Lawrence band. He's actually one of the members is the son of the guitar player in Get Smart. So thus their opening. But they're real fun too. They've got that pseudo punk kind of feel, 3-piece, kind of. I can, some of the songs I would get bleeped if I were to tell you the names of them. So.
What have you missed most about performing? Is it the people that are in your band? Is it the people that come to see you?
Not those guys.
Not those guys?
No, I love, we've been friends for a long time now, and we've had lots of ups and downs. But I miss the energy of playing together. Because that's something that you don't get. Sitting around with a guitar or doing anything like that. You really don't get that interaction and the things that really make the music happen. And then along with that is the audience. I mean, you can't have it's no fun playing in your basement.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to being on stage and raising the volume and raising the air pressure in the room, a little bit. That's exciting.
Now we have a music video that you so graciously offered for us to show on here.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about this music video?
This came out right before the release of Twist the Lens, and I believe the video came out. I want to say in January or so of 2020. But it was just a song, Downtown, which we filmed. It was pretty fun to do this one. It was a full-on production video. There's some drone shots and things like that. Our good friend Tony Laddish, directed and edited and did the production on this. And there's a cast of people involved, and like I said, it was a pretty fun, big production, and there's shots of Kansas City, and it is interesting because even like you'll see there's shots of us in the car and things like that, and there's lots of people that come in. It's basically the girl driving is it's like an Uber, but it's a pedal jet thing. Anyway, so they. The production on it is fantastic, and hats off to Tony Laddish and Mile Deep Productions.
Well, I'd really like to thank you coming in today.
Nathaniel, it's awesome to be here, and I appreciate you inviting me back.
I don't have many shows left on this show, which is something I created a long time ago, and we've had several guests on here, and I can say that you are one of the best and most insightful I've had.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much, and thank you for getting this going, man. And thanks for you've done a great thing here.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right.
Now we're going to show your music video of Downtown.
Awesome. Thank you.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Welcome back. I'm Nathan.
I'm Nathaniel.
And we're here with the 5th Eagles album, Hotel California, the one that everybody seems to know the best. And to say the least, we have some differing opinions from what the public may think. So what are your initial thoughts?
On this, well, like you said, most well-known, probably, I would say it's their best album, but I do think it is an important piece of 1970s rock music, especially in soft rock. And, you know, I feel like this album is kind of really the culmination of this band that we've been looking through this whole time, you know. Yeah. Henley and Fry have been there this whole time. They're adding new guys like Joe Walsh on this album. And, you know, this album's kind of a perfect storm of people that are on this album.
It is. This is kind of, it's hard to say if this is the best lineup because I actually think Timothy B. Schmidt and Randy Meisner are pretty similar to each other.
I would agree so.
I think Randy Meisner has a better vocal range, but Timothy B. Schmidt's voice has something about it. But this is still probably in the conversation for the best lineup when you have Felder, Walsh, and Meisner still there along with Henley and Fry. So I just kind of want your overall thoughts of what you really think of this album.
I think, you know, like I said, not my favorite. People know Desperado is my favorite. But I love a majority of the songs on here. Cannot stand Life in the Fast Lane. And I cannot stand that song. I don't think it is very good. The guitar playing on that song is really good, but I just don't like the lyrics when you hear them, or especially the sing on it. It's kind of raspy, and it kind of comes out wrong to me. And I'm sort of confused why this song became so huge, because it sounds unlike anything they ever did before.
Well, and I think that's maybe partly why it became so well known, is that it is different from what they've done. You know, it's actually an interesting story of how Life at the Fast Lane came to be, that the famous guitar lick was just Joe Walsh practicing. And I think that actually shows to the genius of Joe Walsh that, you know, one of the most famous guitar licks in history he used to practice. You know, it's similar to what Kerry Livgren at Kansas did with Dust in the Wind. I mean, it's just an exercise. He's just there to warm up. And then that turns into, you know, like I said, one of the most famous guitar licks ever. And so, you know, I personally don't understand the hate for that song from you, but then vice versa, you don't understand the hate that I have for New Kid in Town.
Yeah, so no, that song is amazing. Well, it won an award for a reason.
See, it's not that I don't like New Kid in Town. There's just something about it, though. I almost feel it's too slow. Like
that would be a fair assessment. It's kind of slower than some of their other songs, even though they did do plenty of slow songs.
They did. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's just, it's not my favorite. You know, you compare it to all the other songs on this album, it isn't my favorite, personally. But I think we can both agree that, you know, 3 of the best songs on here are Try and Love Again, Pretty Maids All in a Row, and The Last Resort.
Yeah, and honestly, those 3 are my favorite, and probably my top 10 of the whole Eagles catalog. Yeah. I don't think on any of these albums there's really more than 2, but this one probably has 3 for me. Yeah. And I really love the Wasted Times reprise on here.
Yeah, I don't much like actually Wasted Time. The Wasted Time reprise is fine. I like it. It's nice. But, you know, in my opinion, actual Hotel California, as historically significant and as good as it is with the songwriting and guitar work from Felder and Walsh, maybe 3rd or 4th best on this album, maybe?
Can we talk about this title track for a minute, though? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Maybe one of the most well-known tracks ever.
Oh, definitely.
Easily one of the most recognizable songs of all time.
I mean, you hear the opening guitar riff and yeah, I know what that is.
But, you know, it's just one of those songs that I've heard so many times that if I never heard the song again, I'd probably die a happy man.
And that's completely fair. I mean, Hotel California is probably maybe the most overplayed song on the radio. And
no, Bohemian Rhapsody is one that's two.
Well, this is right up there.
It is right up there.
You really can't go, a day if you were to listen to just classic rock radio without hearing it a few times.
Heck, even hear a song from this album on rock radio.
Yeah.
You couldn't go a day without
You're
hearing
probably
it.
either going to hear Hotel California, Life in the Fast Lane, or New Kid in Town.
Right.
Which, all those songs are good, but I think that you look at the other body of work that is contained within the album. Bob Dylan praised Pretty Maids as a Row as possibly the best song of all time. That's coming from one of the best songwriters of all time.
And
praising
one of the best guitar players of all time. I mean, Joe's voice is just so unique, but it really, really works on this song.
And, another song that we didn't mention was Victim of Love.
Which is another really good one.
Which is really, really great. And, there's a whole other story behind that basically Don Felder was supposed to sing that song, tried multiple times, and then the Eagles basically went behind his back and put Henley over him, which, I mean, even Felder himself admitted you can't really argue against Henley's vocals on anything. My personal favorite song off here, besides Try and Love Again, is probably The Last Resort. That is, in my opinion, maybe the best ballad that the Eagles wrote.
Probably one of the best of all time, too, I'd say.
Lyrically, it's incredibly well written from Henley, and even though the personal message may be not something that I agree with, it's so well done and well written, and flies completely under the radar on this album. So what would you rate it?
See, I love so many of the songs on here, but that one song, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
Because, those 9, the other tracks on here are just so darn good that I don't think you can give this album lower than a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you might be the same way for this too because of your thoughts on New Kid in Town.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. In my opinion, this isn't even one of the 2 best Eagles albums. That's my opinion. I think One of These Nights is number 1, and actually Long Road Out of Eden is number 2. But that's a whole different story. But, in terms of historical significance, this is one of the biggest albums of all time. This kind of almost revolutionized rock in a sense. And, people know exactly what Hotel California is. It's, at this rate, it's hard not to. It's one of those phrases that will live on for generations and generations and probably never actually forgotten.
Probably not. One of the most important works
of
the last 20th century. The Eagles they're definitely one of the top 3 influential bands of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And
at least American.
At least American, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
the body of work that they have put out over their career is quite extraordinary when you think of all these albums that they put out, because there's not really a bad Eagles album. There's not even really a mediocre Eagles album, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
all their stuff is so good.
I think the only argument that you could make is that maybe there's not a fully complete Eagles album. I think the closest you get is One of These Nights in Hotel California, and that's as close as you could get to being a complete good album.
Well, and we are actually not going to be covering the last Eagles album because somebody's time is kind of short here. But up next, we're going to have This Week in History, and next week, me, Hayden, and his father are talking about the legendary band, the Grateful Dead. So please stay tuned for that. It will be an experience.
No one takes drugs expecting to become addicted. You should know that addiction can happen to anyone because it's a disease of the brain. That also means recovery is possible. Addiction doesn't have to be permanent, and the state of Kansas is ready to assist you in every step of the way. Visit findtreatment.gov or call the Kansas Substance Abuse Referral Line at 866-645-8216.
Welcome back to This Week in History. I'm Dana.
And I'm Grace. In 1964, the Supremes started a 4-week run at the #1 spot on the U.S. singles chart with Baby Love, the group's second of 5 consecutive U.S. #1s. The group was formerly known as the Pedaljets.
In 1977, during a concert at the Empire Pool in Wembley, London, Elton John announced his retirement from live performances.
In 1979, AC/DC played the second of 3 sold-out nights at the Hammersmith Odeon, London, England, with Def Leppard alongside them.
In 1983, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon marked its 491st week on the Billboard album chart in the US, surpassing the previous record held.
Also, in 1983, Islands in the Stream gave Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers a #1 on the US singles chart. The song was written by the Bee Gees and co-produced by Barry Gibb.
In 1999, the Foo Fighters released their third studio album, There's Nothing Left to Lose. The album marked the first appearance of drummer Taylor Hawkins.
In 2005, hundreds of people were lined up outside the Sheffield Arena to make sure to get tickets to see Sir Cliff Richard. By the time the tickets were on sale, fans had been waiting outside for 9 days. The concert was not until next November of 2006.
In 2008, U.S. drummer and singer Carl Black died. He was a member of the Keys, the Soul Giants, the Mother of Intervention, and Jimmy Carl Black and the Mandish Boys. He was also famously known for working with Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, The Doors, and the Grateful Dead.
That's all for this week in history. Be sure to tune in next week at 4 and follow us on our socials on Twitter at Jayhawk_Jukebox and our Instagram at JayhawkJukebox.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.